I know most of you are aware of all this, but it's important that we just go through the books, because my physics professor in Canada used to always carry his undergrad textbook. He used to say it's important to go to the basics all the time. Invention of the browser, dot-com boom and bust, and the banking industry's thrust on internet banking. That is the late 90s we are talking about. Primary objective, cost reduction. And the birth of cyber criminals. They were always there, but the world suddenly got awakened to the fact that they are there. According to me, nothing's wrong with the internet. And this can come as a surprise to you folks, that why is this guy saying nothing's wrong with the internet, There is really nothing wrong with the internet. It is cheap. It is free. Anyone can create any website, put any content on any server with any IP address with no government control. It's democracy at its best. That's what I say. But when you look at this infrastructure, it was not meant to be designed for secure internet banking, period. The designers, never said it is going to be used for secure communication. They just said it is going to be used for sending information back and forth. Actually, the entire HTML invention was for exchanging scientific data between scientists in the CERN laboratories. Tim Berners-Lee designed HTML for that purpose. It was not meant for banking. So let's understand this. This entire internet infrastructure that we are using for banking was not designed for banking, period. What does it mean? If you look at the anatomy of the internet infrastructure, you have the customer's PC, and I'm trying to just break it down into bare minimum so that we can relate to what's happening. In the whole day, I'm seeing him running around and doing a lot of work, and see, it's sometimes very interesting. We don't talk about the Indian scenario here. I think only few folks addressed that India has a unique requirement. We are talking about 7+ GDP growth. We are talking about people with different economic backgrounds. The amount of education they have is different. It is not what we are talking about. So this is not a technology that is going to the US customers. It is going to go to the Indian customers. So when you are talking about the Indian customers in front of you, you got to keep certain basic things in mind. And these are the basic simple facts, as a lay customer would understand. I wish there were a few end consumers in this conference today, that who can actually relate to what we are talking here. It's technology guys, mathematicians talking to bankers, bankers talking to mathematicians. So anyway, so I'll just go back to these 4 parts here. So you have the customer's PC, the browsers, the internet network, which means DNS, routers, and all that stuff. So what part of this is under the bank's control? Except for the bank's server, if you ask me, nothing is under the bank's control. So you're dealing with an animal here, which is not under your control. The PC is not under your control. He can install anything. He can install proactively, reactively, without knowing, Trojans, keyloggers. He can install BHOs in his browsers. He can use any browser he wants to. And the internet, the basic infrastructure that we are talking about, the routers, the DNS. I wish there was a DIS, not a DNS. I mean, a DNS, what does it do? It takes the URL and it gives you an IP address, a lookup for the coordinates of the server. But internet doesn't have a DIS, which is domain identification server. I wish there was a domain identification server. What it would do, it would look at a domain and say, yes, this is indeed the domain you're looking at. When you say www. Let's say statebankofindia.com or co.in, that's the web page you're looking at. There is no DIS right now. So there is a problem in the internet infrastructure. Okay, there is a DNS, but there is no DIS. So from a control standpoint, the bank has no control in the existing infrastructure. And this is a map of the internet, ladies and gentlemen, which is a 10-year-old map. So we are looking at an organism here, which is exploding, and each dot here is actually a server, a computer connected to other dots. So now you tell me, if you want to confront this reality where you have all kinds of fishers out there, all kinds of bad. See, I don't want to use the word fishers. One cannot relate with that term. It's like me saying graph theory or group theory. You can't relate to that. I will say cyber thieves. It's easy to understand, and they steal money. So if I have to talk to a customer, I'll say cyber thieves. So there are all these cyber thieves sitting in this network, and I have to deal with it. So what I do, I try to put a patch here, put a fix there, I send OTPs, I do something. I want to grapple with that existing problem. But when you look at the situation, it's something different here. A correlated example. If you look at the ATM, would you allow your customer to browse the internet while he's withdrawing cash? Simple question.